This is so wizarding.
This is Marky Mark Markellis from So Wizard Podcast, and you are listening to the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network.
Broadcasting very fast and very dangerous from the planet Malastare. You are listening to So Wizard.
You're thinking people gonna die?
The only podcast to make the Kessel Run in under 12 parsecs.
There'll be no one to stop us this time.
What's going on, everybody? It is time for episode number 268 of the So Wizard Podcast. I'm your host, Joey DiCarlo. This week, my co-hosts are the queen of all nerds, Aubrey Litchfield.
Syphilis.
Did you catch that in a Mexican brothel?
Yes, I did.
And the expert, Mr. Marquis Markellis Reagans, is once again on assignment. So joining us this week, live and direct from our YouTube channel, the mastermind who makes it all work, Mr. Adam Wallyhawk.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Great to have you on the show again. I think it's been 2 or 3 years since we've actually physically had you on the podcast.
Yeah, and I think it was the anniversary one, your second year, and there was a ton of people on it.
Excellent. Well, much like the Wizard of Oz, you're always working behind the curtains to keep this thing running. So we're glad to have you here.
Super glad.
But you,
fun.
the listener, are listening to So Wizard Podcast, where three friends discuss the world of nerd, podcasting weekly on the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. This week, we've got some nerdy news, and then we're going to talk all about the latest movie from Sylvester Stallone, Rambo, Last Blood. But before we get into that, how's everyone doing? Aubrey, what's going on?
Nothing much. Been a quiet week.
Getting ready for New York?
Yeah, I can't believe it's a week away.
Yes, it is. I'm so worried I don't have enough money.
I know, I've never been before, so I don't know how much money I need, but, I'm panicked.
Great. We'll have a good time. All right, Adam, how about you? You live in New York, so it's probably not as big a deal for you, right?
Well, I'm still 3.5 hours away, but yeah.
In New York.
You're farther away than us. So.
Yeah, I think so. I'm looking forward to it, though.
Are you ready? Do you have enough money?
Yeah. I bought another battery for the camera. I'm just worried about getting everything we need. I've never done a con half this big, so.
So we can't really reveal anything yet, but we've gotten a confirmation for a press invite so far, right?
A few, yeah.
Oh, boy, a few, huh?
And I just got another email right before we started recording, so we'll get on that after.
Excellent. Yeah, we're going to have some really cool content for both YouTube and the podcast coming up, so definitely check that out. As for me, I'm just working. I'm looking forward to New York being over for one reason. I don't have to work as many shifts at my second job. I don't feel like I do anything anymore. I just sleep and work. And sometimes I get sick, and then I get a day off to sleep, and then I work some more. So,
oh, great.
Then I go to see Rambo in the middle of the day. Then I come home and go back to bed. So it's not a very exciting existence, but it will be exciting for you, the listener, when you get to see all our cool content from New York Comic Con. I'm super excited. I'm super looking forward to it. So can't believe it's a week away. I don't feel like I have enough money, but we'll see. It's an expensive city. It's the city that never sleeps.
Yeah, we'll get through it.
Yeah, as long as I can eat a meatball grinder from a deli at 2:30 in the morning, I'll be okay. So all that being said, enough about us. Let's talk about us. Aubrey, why don't you tell the listeners where they can find more So Wizard podcasts?
All right. So you can find us on everything at SoWizardPodcast.com. Look for us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at SoWizardPodcast. Catch us on every podcasting app under the sun, like Podbean and Stitcher and iTunes. And find us on the Geek World. I wrote it down. Geek World All-Stars Podcast. Shit.
Geek World All-Stars Podcast. Shit. That's not a good name for a network at all.
Awesome. Back to you, Joey.
Putting Aubrey on the spot to do social media when she never ever has to do it is probably my favorite thing in the history of 5 years of podcasting. So.
I know, and you would think after 5 years I would know all of our social media.
You're a very busy woman. You have things going on. You don't have time for social media.
Unless it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm just scrolling.
All right, let's hit up the news from the world of nerd this week. You guys ready?
Ready?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to start at the top. Not a lot this week, but we've got some stuff to talk about. So the first thing is we got reports that there has been a constant beat of the drum for a remake of one of the most classic films, probably the last 50 years, and that would be The Princess Bride. According to Sony Pictures CEO, there is constantly very, very famous people who come up and contact him and meet with him and want to remake The Princess Bride, which of course set the internet aflame with people with anger of this happening. What do you think of a Princess Bride remake, Adam?
I think that's one of those movies that really worked because of who was in it and when it was made. It wasn't so much just the story that you could pop out people and put new ones in, so I don't think they're going to get the same result with a remake. They're just going to anger a lot of internet people.
Would you go see a remake of The Princess Bride?
Probably not. If they did like a spiritual successor or like a half sequel, half reboot, that might be one thing, but a straight up remake, I doubt it.
Princess Brides?
With a Z, yeah.
Yep. It takes place in Compton.
Yeah.
What about you, Aubrey? You're a huge fan of The Princess Bride.
I am people, and I say nay.
You are people.
No one wants this remake. I have not seen one person that has talked about this that wants this remake.
No one wants this, not even the actors from the original.
Yeah, so what are they even thinking?
That they have a IP that they want to use and make money on it.
They haven't made it in 30 years.
Yep.
Nay.
And you wouldn't go see it?
No.
What if we made you go see it for the podcast?
Why? Why you do this to me?
We'll get into that a little bit more later, won't we?
Yeah. I have some words.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I am 100% out on a Princess Bride remake. Just seems superfluous. Like, why would you bother? And it's not like the movie was set in 1978 New York, and you're like, oh, well, let me update it to 2019. Maybe it's some way where you could justify doing it. There's nothing in the movie that needs to be updated. You can even make an excuse for Kevin Arnold. What the fuck is the actor's name? Fred Savage.
Fred Savage.
Kevin Arnold. Not having a phone or anything because he's sick. So you can justify it. It could take place right now. You don't even need to update it. So yeah, what a dumb idea. That sounds like the worst idea ever. So.
It's up there.
So okay, no Princess Bride remake. All right, so let's move on to another reboot/remake. So there's a couple of levels of this now. Everyone has a streaming service now. So NBC now has their own streaming service. And what do you guys think it's called? Aubrey, what do you think this is called?
NBC streaming service.
You would think so, but it's not. What about you, Adam?
I actually know this, so I don't want to ruin your punchline.
Oh, all right. Well, it's called Peacock.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yep. Are you guys interested in getting some Peacock?
Let me see your peacock, your peacock.
If they don't license that song for the commercials, I don't know who's working there.
I wanna see your peacock, go peacock. They really need to.
Seriously. But so they're threatening to make all sorts of things for this. The big one that came out is going to be a Battlestar Galactica reboot from the creator of Mr. Robot on the USA Network. Aubrey, did you ever watch Battlestar Galactica?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
The original or the reboot?
Reboot.
All right. Now, did you like it?
It's okay. Bears beats in Battlestar Galactica.
No, do you want
That
them
will also be on Peacock.
Yes, there you go.
Cock. The
Oh,
peacock.
You set her off again. Do you want to see them reboot it or remake it?
No, I don't. They could just play reruns, and then it'd be fine. Just license it so it only streams on the Peacock cock.
I think it's going to be something of a sequel.
Just think that's silly.
Right. So, Adam, they had said this will be not a remake, but a spiritual successor or a sequel taking place in the same universe. Is this
spiritual success?
Because that worked so well with Caprica when they did a spinoff.
Oh, that was bad. But what do you think, Adam? You gonna watch this or what?
I might check it out just to like Battlestar Galactica that much, but I'm not holding my breath.
Now, will either of you guys be subscribing to Peacock?
I doubt it.
No.
Not at all, Aubrey? Not
As
even
I said last week, it is incredibly difficult to get my money.
Not even for The Office?
No, I wouldn't do it.
Okay. All right. Well, I will not be subscribing either. I am cautiously optimistic about a sequel-ish thing to Battlestar because, as we know, all of this has happened before, and all of this will happen again. So there's plenty of room there to redo it and take your own spin on it. The 2004 series, God, that's like one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Warts and all, it definitely had some issues here and there, but God, I love that show. That's a really good show.
It was really good, yeah.
That episode where I think it's like the first or second episode in the first season where they're jumping light speed like every 30 minutes to get away from the Cylons is like fucking fantastic. Oh my God, that's such a good show. If you haven't watched that show, like seriously, I think it's on Amazon right now. Maybe
Hulu. Is it?
It's on one of the three. It's not on Netflix. I think it's on.
It was on Netflix at one point.
Right.
That's where I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's either on Hulu or Amazon right now. But God, it's phenomenal. I can't recommend it enough.
Gotta watch it all before Peacock pulls it.
That's right. Before it gets on the Peacock, they ram it with their beak. but
it's never gonna get.
Yeah, it's not. So yeah, we have the mentality of like fourth graders. So we're gonna giggle every time we say Peacock, but I'm not gonna subscribe to it. But I certainly would fire up the Fire Stick and check it out.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's the way legitimate press talks about things, right, Adam?
Oh,
I would
yeah,
illegally pirate it. So
it's worth stealing. Yeah.
Should we say that at the roundtable press interviews? I really liked your show. I illegally pirated it on my Fire Stick.
Yes.
Didn't like it enough to pay for it, but good job.
Good job. All right. Well, I guess we'll keep our eyes open for that. All right. Couple more stories. Like I said, not a lot this week. I mean, we'll get some more news coming out. You never know. You guys know this. Like, we'll be scraping the bottom of the barrel for news every week, and then all of a sudden, there's so much that the episode is like 2 hours long. So, but this week we've got a couple more. We got the official second trailer for Frozen 2. And we're probably not going to watch this on the show, but it is going to be one of the biggest releases of the year. So I thought it was a good idea for us to check it out. I've never seen the first Frozen. The only interaction I've ever had with Frozen was there was a god-awful, like, 3-day long thing before Coco, when we went to see Coco. It felt like I'd been watching it for a week, but I think it was only 20 minutes long.
Yeah, everyone hated how long that was.
It was physically painful, but that's been my only interaction with Frozen. Adam, have you seen the first Frozen?
Yeah, I did. I saw it. I liked it for what it was. I mean, I didn't sing the song for 6 years after because I don't have little kids, but...
What did you think of the trailer for Frozen 2?
If you didn't send it to me to watch for recording right now, I never would have watched it, but it was not a bad trailer.
The real question is going to be, are you going to go see this?
I'll probably wait for it to hit Disney+.
That's true. I keep forgetting about Disney+.
Then I don't have to be in the theater as the only, 30-year-old male with no kids.
What about you, Aubrey?
It's okay. I don't know why it was as big as it was. And I remember saying that when it first came out, I didn't understand why everybody was making such a fucking big deal about it. Because there's plenty of princesses who don't get married in the movie, like Brave. And not to mention, like, she still ends up with some dude that she just meets. So, I don't know. I didn't quite understand the big hubbubaloo.
Marketing.
Yeah, and I like Kristen Bell. I like the people that are in it. I just don't understand. I don't want to see a second one. It looks okay, but I don't want to see it.
Well, thankfully, you don't have to.
Yay!
I remember when the first one came out. I've never been happier that Janine was not like 4 years younger.
You'd never escape it.
I know. I hate that my daughter's getting older because it makes me feel super old. But her not being in that age range where I had to go see Frozen and like live it for like 3 years is like the happiest moment of my life. Besides all the other happy moments. But yeah, I'm not going to go see this. I thought the trailer looked pretty epic, though. Certainly looked a little more action-packed than I would have expected from this. Where's the song? Where's the big song?
Maybe that's why I liked the trailer.
They have yet to reveal it.
That's right. It's no Charlie's Angels featuring Miley Cyrus, Lana Del Rey, and Ariana Grande. So that's the bar it has to clear, unfortunately. So.
Step right over that laying on the ground.
Oh, Jesus. All right. So, we liked the trailer, but we're still not going to go see the movie. And our final news story just breaking as we went to record. Jonah Hill, the star of Superbad, has joined the cast of The Batman in a secret role. So, Aubrey, what do we think Jonah Hill is playing in The Batman?
Isn't he playing, like, side by side with Robert Pattinson?
We don't know. It's a secret role.
I thought it was, like, something where they implied that it was close. He's probably going to be fucking Alfred or something ridiculous.
That would be weird. It seems like he's kind of young to be Alfred.
Yeah, but I feel like that's what they would do, just to throw everybody off.
Everybody seems to be expecting him to play Penguin. But
I mean, he could. That would be a good thing.
Just because he used to be fat.
Yeah, but I think he would be a good Penguin.
A lot of villains in this movie already. I don't know how I feel about this.
He'll probably be Cobblepot, not as much Penguin, and be in there for like 3 minutes to try to set up another universe.
There you go.
What about you, Adam? What do you think he's going to play?
I was going to say Penguin.
This is why Adam gets paid the big bucks, because that makes way more sense.
I think he's going to play Robin in the little green trunks.
It'd be really cool if he was the Mad Hatter.
Oh, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Or Clayface.
Wasn't Dave Bautista petitioning to play Clayface?
I thought he was petitioning to be in Gears of War.
He got that, so now he has to move on to the next petition.
Yeah. Why is everything in the DCEU now the Batman, the Suicide Squad, the Wonder Woman?
Because they're burning through titles.
That's right.
Signifies importance.
Well, I am looking forward to The Batman. I am very nervous about the amount of villains and things they're announcing. So Commissioner Gordon just got cast, which I don't remember the actor's name, but it's the main actor from Westworld, the black guy with the glasses. So.
Oh, yeah, okay. He's really good.
Yeah. And Aubrey, do you watch Westworld at all?
No.
You would probably hate it. It's not going on the list.
Oh, it's like the best show on TV right now.
I don't know about that. I could not fathom Aubrey liking that in any way, shape, or form. So, but he's Commissioner Gordon, so that should be interesting. I'm very scared about the amount of villains they keep announcing. Maybe Jonah Hill is the new Superman.
You didn't lose that much weight.
Jesus. Look at Adam. Not everybody gets up at 4 a.m. to work out like fucking Leonidas. So
Yeah. Jeffrey Wright is Commissioner Gordon. That's the guy's name.
Yep.
I don't even get up at any time during the day to work out.
Well, that's because you have natural beauty, Aubrey.
Oh, that's so sweet.
All right, so that does it for the news this week. Not a lot to talk about, but some definite things we're going to keep an eye on. We'll see how it goes in the future, especially with our new favorite streaming service, Peacock. So let's move on to the main event of the evening. We're going to talk about the new movie, Rambo: Last Blood. We all had a chance to go see it. What we'll do is our non-spoiler impressions, and then we'll somehow do a sound drop because we can't do music or sound drops until Mark comes back. So we'll figure it out. But you'll know when we're going to go to spoilers, I promise. So let's go around and see what we thought. Adam, what did you think of the movie? Non-spoiler.
For what it was, for Stallone's age, not bad.
Okay. Aubrey.
I'm really pissed.
Why are you pissed?
This was some shit.
I was nervous going first because I had a feeling you were going to say that.
That's why I didn't want her to go first.
I had said in our So Wizard chat, this was the worst decision ever. I was pissed. I was watching it and I was like, fucking Joey.
Fucking do anything. Come on.
I was so mad that you chose for us to watch this.
Oh my God.
And then I was like, when did we become a movie podcast? Why are we watching this? This is not pop culture. I was so mad.
Well, you, Joey?
We can't be a featured film reviews podcast in iTunes if we don't review films. So. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, honestly, it was like the definition of like right down the middle. It was fine, and it was over quick.
It did feel rushed, which is weird because kind of a lot happened.
Yep. But when it ended, I looked at my phone, and then I was like, "Whoa, it's only the movie started at 11:10," and I looked at my phone and goes, "Oh, it's only 1 o'clock. What?"
Yeah.
So I was able to come home and take a nap. So I was stunned. But yeah, no, I mean, it was fine. I definitely liked Rambo 4 better.
Much better.
And I felt more satisfied leaving the theater after that. Whereas this, I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, the movie was awesome. Whereas this was like, okay, yeah, I saw a movie. And then I went home.
Probably won't remember it a week after we record this.
I still remember it right now, so it's not as bad as something like Tomb Raider.
That's true.
Where the only thing I remembered was to go join the Alicia Vikander subreddit so I could look at pictures of her. But other than that, like I honestly like walking out of as I was leaving the theater, opening the door from Tomb Raider, I could barely remember half the movie. So this was definitely a step above that. But any other non-spoiler things to talk about, or you guys want to jump into it?
I feel like it's worth seeing just to give Stallone some money because he's been trying so hard for 40 years.
I'm disappointed that they did not make the Rambo 5 where he fought a alien monster.
Well, it's going to be Rambo 6 then, because this is like the third last Rambo movie, right?
Yes, it is. Well, at least he didn't give thanks to the brave Mujahideen. The credits. That didn't age well.
No, not at all. That's what it should have been, the U.S. government coming after him as an incel.
Yeah. Oh, God, an incel.
I think I got the word wrong there, didn't I?
He's just typing online about how much he hates Captain Marvel.
Yeah, definitely got the word wrong.
That's what he does on his farm. Aubrey, any non-spoiler thoughts before we jump into it?
I liked the end credits.
Because it was over.
No, I did like how they did the end credits and how they had like the videos from the old ones in there.
All right. Well, I guess Aubrey, can you do our spoiler sound drop for us?
Spoilers, get your spoilers.
All right. We will now be spoiling the movie, so if you haven't seen it and you don't want to be spoiled, obviously duck out. Otherwise, stick with us. We're going to go a little more in-depth into the movie. I'm going to start with things that we liked. Aubrey, I want to pull some things out of you that you liked. What did you like about the movie? I
liked the end credits. I liked the human side of Rambo. But other than that, no, I did like the innovation he had with like what he did in the tunnel, all the different booby traps and stuff. I liked how creative that was. And yep, that was it.
All right. How about you, Adam? Things that you liked about the movie?
Well, one thing is on Aubrey's point of everything he did in the tunnel, that's a lot of the crap that we were finding over in Vietnam. So I actually thought that was a pretty good tie back to the character's past, stuff he probably would have encountered at some point, which I also thought was pretty dark since the whole first movie was about him dealing with PTSD from being over there.
Does that even count anymore? The first movie is it doesn't even exist, really.
No, because it wasn't an action movie at all. And then they're like, oh, this guy has a cool past. Let's make him the most badass action star on the planet.
I don't think the Rambo cartoon was based on the first movie at all.
I forgot that existed.
Right.
So I like that. And I thought they did a serviceable job making you care about the girl who, Rambo never had a family until he was 90. So they kind of had to shoehorn that in about 20 minutes. But given the limitation, I thought they did a pretty good job with it. And since we're in spoiler territory, I was surprised when the girl actually died.
I was pissed.
Oh, yeah, hold on. We're not in the things we don't like yet, Aubrey.
Well, I thought it was good that a movie that is still pretty mediocre could still surprise you with something.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, there were things I liked about the movie. That basically the whole last half hour where he's killing everybody.
Yep.
I don't. There were just so many things, though. This is getting to things I don't like. Like, why did he have the tunnels? Well, so that we can have the end of the movie.
Yeah, I was waiting for them to address that. And all they had to do is, it's like a bomb shelter type deal, but they never really cared to explain it.
Right. So there were a lot of things like that, and I'll get into the things we didn't like. But anytime there was violence, loved it. I
liked when he was pulling the guy's rib out of his chest and said he would break it off.
That's right. Jesus Christ.
And I don't know why he didn't. He killed everybody but the guy who's actually selling the girls.
No, I think he killed him eventually. I think he killed him right before he got out of the car.
He just punched him, though. That's one hell of a punch if it killed him.
Well, he ripped his collarbone out and stabbed his leg and then broke his nose and threw him out on the street. I don't know if that guy made it anyways.
Okay, so that one's up in the air. Well, we'll find out in Rambo 6.
That's right. Yeah, so anytime there was violence, it was awesome. I loved everything in the last half of the movie where he's killing everybody in the cave, blah 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 blah. I liked watching him set it up. Thought that was great. Then there's a movie to go with it, unfortunately. So that part kind of and so I guess from there we'll go into things we didn't like. Aubrey, the floor is yours.
I was really, really pissed, and I think he should have died, and the girl should have somehow moved up into that. I think her. Okay, I don't like watching anything to do with rape. That is
they didn't show it. They didn't show it.
I don't care. It was implied.
It got pretty dark.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people doing it, and I can't. I was like, God damn, I'm gonna throw up everywhere. I was so sick to my stomach watching this.
I didn't know that was going to be in the movie. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I forgive you. So that I was really mad about that, and I would have gotten over it had she lived. And I feel like even if she just went through a whole bunch of shit and still lived that, I would have been okay with that. But she died. And there's no reason, there's no need for her to die. She didn't need to die. She could have lived. He could have brought her back home. They could have tried to hunt her down. She could have gone into the tunnels, blown everybody up, and in the end had to kill him and learned a lesson to listen to Uncle John Rambo and don't leave the fucking house when he says not to, because then he dies.
That's literally what I thought they were going to do, because he kept saying the world's a bad place and you don't know it. I thought she was going to find out and he was going to get his I told you so moment and then kill everybody so she didn't have to.
Yeah. I wish that he got his I told you so moment and she lived and learned a valuable lesson. But no, they had to go and kill her. And that really pissed me off.
The lesson was listen to your crazy not uncle.
As he's digging bomb shelters under your house.
Right.
Yeah, and then you die. You die right as you learn that lesson.
Right. Well, she should have learned it earlier. How about you, Adam? What about things you didn't like about the movie?
While I did like all the violence we got, I actually thought it was kind of tame for Rambo 6, this insane killing cartel sex trafficker movie. Like, Taken was kind of more brutal in a lot of ways. Especially the fact that the girl didn't just, like, almost experience it. Like, she went through it and then died. I thought he was just really going to go to town on these people. And the main scumbag guy, who was kind of the one who was beating the girls, and they established him as the one running the girls, they killed him off camera. Like, what a ripoff.
Well, they weren't going to show him cutting his head off.
But they should have. Especially when he was in the shower. I thought he was going to walk in and slice the guy's dick off and then kill him.
Ooh, that would have been good.
But they didn't even, like, allude to that. So I was actually a little let down that they did that off screen, because he was the real main villain. The other brother was kind of the businessman, who was also a villain, of course, but he was the one, like, hands-on.
I did like how he stabbed him and ripped his heart out.
That was cool. And I was also a little disappointed when he was first scouting him out with all of his talk about how the world's a terrible place. He walked into the middle of their lair with zero plan. He didn't even show up with like $5,000 to be like, here's the money, just give me the girl, you'll never see us again. Like, he had no plan at all. And I'm like, really? Everything you've been through? No idea?
I expected him to have a plan, and he kind of just like walked past everybody, and I was like, okay, he's going to lure them all in the same place, and he's going to beat a whole bunch of people. And instead, he got his ass kicked. And that pissed me off, because I'm like, this is Rambo.
He didn't even try.
Yeah, he didn't try. And then he's like, just let her go. And he's a big old vagina and just sits there and lets them beat on him. And I don't understand. Like, that was so out of character. And it sucked.
That was a bit weird.
Yeah.
Well.
Uh-oh.
The problems I had with the movie were mostly, like, story-wise. Like, the last time we saw Rambo, he had just killed, like, half our listeners in Myanmar. And in case you didn't know, Adam, we're huge in Myanmar. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so big ups to Myanmar, as always. And I'm sorry that Rambo killed half of you guys. But he had just killed half of our listeners, and then he went home. And that was the end. That's the last time we saw him. So we don't know what the hell happened after that. So then this movie starts, and he has this whole life with the Mexican housekeeper lady and her daughter. And it's been, what, like 10, 11 years since the last one?
Yeah, 10 years.
Even in real time. So, yeah, I mean, that stuff could have happened, but we could have got any sort of flashback or montage or anything during the opening credits that kind of explained like what was going on. Like,
especially since the movie was so short, they could have put in 10 minutes of story.
Right, exactly. It was a 90-minute movie. Like, you couldn't take 7-10 minutes and just kind of show what happened. Like, I get we see pictures on the wall and and through dialogue they kind of explain it, but it just would have been a lot more powerful and like made more sense if they could have just shown like what happened. Didn't have to be a big deal. Just explain that. Like, I thought that was his house. Wasn't that his house?
It was his family's house. Like, there was generations of Rambos there.
So where'd they all go? And why is there only a Mexican housekeeper living there?
I think the relationship was his sister, was it? Rambo's sister. So that was his niece. Okay. And her dad was the guy she goes to find in Mexico, the whole reason why she went down there.
Right.
So I think the sister died, and then the dad was resentful of the daughter, so she wanted to go find the dad, and why did you abandon us?
Uh-huh.
And then Rambo was kind of her surrogate family, along with her grandmother.
Right. So the problem is that I shouldn't have to ask these questions. They could have just spent 5 to 10 minutes just showing it in the movie.
Yeah, and I also might be wrong. That's me kind of putting it together from what we got.
Right. So we have this weird Rambo life that we don't know really how it works and why he's raising horses and like what? And then I thought something was going to happen with the horses, because usually in a movie, like, for example, in the classic terrible movie House of the Dead, the main character mentions that his girlfriend takes sword fighting lessons right at the beginning of the movie. And you're like, okay, so at the very end of the movie, when she's sword fighting against the villain, it makes sense why she knows what she's doing, because they've already established that she can use swords. But they spend a lot of time about riding horses, and then he just lets the horses go and never uses them for anything. So.
Yeah, that really felt like Stallone just had some checklist ideas he wanted to do, and everyone just kind of like, just let him have it.
He's like, I really want to ride a horse.
Like maybe they were his horses. He actually has a ranch. Who knows?
I don't know. So yeah, I agree with Aubrey as well. Like when he went down to Mexico, like what was the plan? Like he was just gonna walk in and fight like 75 people? He's 90 years old.
He's even in there looking and like seeing the spotters, and he knows what he's walking into, and he still didn't try to negotiate. He didn't take out like 2 of them and then got overwhelmed. He literally did nothing.
And then they beat the shit out of him. And then a reporter was following him, but I thought the reporter was like a gay guy.
Yeah, the 80s rocker looker. Yeah.
It was like, is that the lead singer of the Strokes? Why is he following him?
And that character was completely useless, too, because she saves him, brings him back home, here's all the information, then he goes back and she's like, I don't want to help you. I can't be seen with you. And it's like, right. What'd you get involved for?
And then she's just an independent journalist, and he's like, you want to see them suffer, too, but then she never comes back.
No, they never touch base with her again.
She had to go on tour as the singer of the Darkness, so she was busy.
And she was also an independent journalist writing columns about these people doing this sex trafficking thing and had no worries about her safety on that, but couldn't be seen in her house with him.
Right. She opens the door when someone knocks without looking. But
yeah, she's fine with that.
Oh, the cartel won't come to my house. Don't worry about it.
The police will protect me. There's no corruption.
That's right. So, yeah.
I feel like 15 minutes of like some clunky exposition dialogue would have made it a better movie.
Right. And then, yeah, I agree with you, Aubrey. The girl dying and everything that happens to her was a little rough. It was a little tough to watch.
Yeah.
I get why they put it in there to make you really like fist pump when he's killing these people at the end. But man, I think we could have seen it in a different way, or it could have been more even more implied than it was. I don't know. It was a little rough. It was a little rough.
Even just not having her die once he got her out would have made it that much less rough, and he still had all the reason in the world to kill all of them.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they could have tracked him down. She could have gone into the tunnels. Like, we would have seen the purpose of the tunnels at that point.
Well, they had his driver's license, so it's not like... You know what I mean? Like, they knew who he was. They knew where to find him.
And he just drives through the U.S. border and doesn't get caught. Bet they fucking want a wall now.
Gotta build that wall, you know?
Yeah. Like, what is that?
They're not sending their best, you know?
There's nobody patrolling a wire fence at the border. He just drives through and nothing happens. They don't even track him down or anything.
I mean, that seems to happen every day.
It just seemed crazy.
At least the cartel guys or whatever they were went through a tunnel.
With gold-plated AK-47s.
Yeah. Naturally.
But yeah.
It was a little weird. It was a little jarring.
Yeah. It felt like the whole movie needed like 20 minutes more, half an hour more.
They could have taken away from the story of her being in these homes. Like, they could have cut that down and added more to other parts of the movie, and it would have been a lot better.
Yeah, get rid of the journalist thing, whatever.
Mm-hmm. But I felt like they spent way too much time on showing that part of it, and it made it just rough. Really, really rough.
Yeah, I think what they were going for was trying to get you to care because they didn't have a lot of time to develop her character. But it's like just the fact that it's an innocent 17-year-old girl and we know the situation, that kind of does it.
Yeah, they didn't have to build that up.
No.
I did like him catching her friend that was a douche that sold her out to the traffickers.
Yeah.
And when he like noticed the bracelet and then he was like, tell me what I need to know or I'm going to hurt you real bad.
Yeah, I like that too.
She's just like, all right.
I think that kind of set the tone for me that he should have done more, though, when he went to that house, because it's like you notice the small details that she's wearing this bracelet, you knew where she was, all this stuff that shows that you have these skills, but then you just walk into this house and get your ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was so weird. Like, they needed to redo that scene.
Mhm.
I really liked that her friend was dressed like a extra from a 90s rap video. Like, how can we imply that this girl is running on the bad side of town in Mexico? Well, she's going to dress like a 1990s rap video cholo.
That might be accurate, though. That was a pretty poor neighborhood.
Maybe it was accurate. It just seemed, I was dying when she opened the door and she had like a fucking flannel shirt buttoned at the top. And I'm like, oh no, it's like, have you never watched Baywatch before? Run away. This is a bad idea. Yeah, she looked like she just walked out of the background of like fucking Eazy-E video or something. It's just like, what is happening here? But yeah, so yeah, I don't know. This movie is kind of a mess.
It is, yeah. Which is why I said, for what it was, fine. Give Stallone a few bucks.
He looked really old in this. I don't know if that was done on purpose, but he looked like, I know he's old, but like he looked super old in this.
He looked really old because when they showed the clips from them 10 years ago, you're like, wow, look how young he looks.
Mm-hmm. I saw this in Extreme because that was the time that was available. So it's like surround sound, Dolby Atmos, like 4K,
He
everything.
got the bigger screen to see his wrinkles.
Yeah, so I mean, he looked super old.
Right,
He looked
yeah.
like he was stuck in place a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's only he's 73, which is old, but like he's not, he looked like late 70s, like 80s in this for some reason. I think maybe that was done on purpose, like his hair and like the close-ups on his face and not a lot of makeup or something, but man, they did not do him any favors.
No,
That's a rough 73, though. That guy's put himself through a lot to do these movies.
He was just in Guardians of the Galaxy like 2 years ago, and he didn't look like that. So I think
That's
it may
true.
have been,
Maybe they did give him some makeup and stuff to make him look even more feeble, even though he's a giant human being.
Mm-hmm. He looked very stiff, and in Expendables, he did an amazing. I liked him in Expendables, but then in this is like he's super stiff. It's like he has arthritis.
Maybe he's got to get back on HGH and start younging himself up again.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll wrap it up and get a score here. Any final thoughts, Aubrey?
I'm just real pissed.
I'm sorry. I'm a letdown to everybody.
I texted Josh. I was like, "Don't see it. Don't watch it on Fire Stick. Don't read about it." He's like, "What the fuck happened?"
Adam?
If you've seen all the Rambo movies and you understand how old this guy is, you know what you're getting.
All right. Well, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. So let's see what we've got for scores out of 5. Aubrey, 0 to 5, 5 being the best and 0 being the worst.
I'm gonna give it a 1.5.
Oof.
Higher than I thought.
Yeah. Aubrey, you're usually an easy grader too. That's crazy. How about you, Adam?
I'll give it a 3.
Okay, that's a little higher than I would have went. I went 2.5 out of 5. Literally the definition of a meh.
Honestly, if it wasn't Stallone, it would have been a 2.
Yep. I will say the last like half hour of the movie when he's killing everybody was enjoyable, but honestly, I probably would have just rather stayed home and watched John Wick Chapter 3 again, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, that one would be one that if you come across it on Netflix on a Sunday afternoon and you watch it, all right, you passed a couple minutes, really.
Yeah, I can't imagine ever watching this again or buying it on Blu-ray or anything.
No.
Like, I don't see the hook for ever having to watch this again.
At best, you watch the last 20 minutes on YouTube.
I will never watch it again.
Watch the kill highlights on YouTube, and that's about
The magnesium shotgun slugs was a pretty cool highlight.
That was really
pretty
cool.
Jinxed. But yeah, like I said, that last 30 minutes of the movie where he's killing everybody was enjoyable. But the first hour and 10 minutes were just a goddamn mess. So it is what it is. 2.5 out of 5 for me. Just the definition of blah. And I'll probably forget all about it. And since there's no hot chicks in it, there's no reason for me to revisit it.
That's true.
Or subscribe to any subreddits. So
I just hope they don't do another one now.
You never know.
Because that 2009 one was way better than it should have been.
Right. But, like Robert De Niro said, private school ain't cheap. So
yeah, well, got to put his grandkids through now.
That's right. So let's wrap it up with some recommendations for the listeners. Aubrey, what do you got?
Stephen King released a new book called The Institute, which I bought. I haven't read any of it yet because I just got it. But everybody should read it because it seems really cool, and we could talk about it on Twitter.
Awesome. How about you, Adam?
It's really funny because that was going to be my recommendation.
Yes!
It is really good.
Is it good?
Yeah.
It looked good, so I actually made it an effort to... I looked at it, and I was like, I'm not going to buy it yet. And then I went back to the store, and I got it.
I'm not too far into it, but a decent chunk that I know what's going on. And it's like he's branching out more, and it's kind of cool to see late in his career.
Awesome.
So my recommendation will be Link's Awakening remake on Switch.
How is that?
It's cool. It's the old Game Boy game, so you get the isometric view, but they updated all the graphics, and it's, kind of like the old campy fun Zelda with a lot of Nintendo callbacks and stuff.
Awesome. All right. So I will recommend that you go to SoWizardPodcast.com, where you'll find the podcast every week, links to all our social media accounts on the right-hand side of the page, movie reviews, streaming picks, so much more. SoWizardPodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts / iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, just about any podcatcher under the sun. We will be there. Check out our YouTube channel with the aforementioned Adam Wallyhawk every week, dropping free and exclusive content. Go to YouTube, search So Wizard Podcast. We are there. Check out our Patreon. You can monetarily support the show and get extra exclusive episodes only on Patreon. And you know what? I'm going to suggest that there's still Thursday tickets available. The only day that's not sold out at New York Comic Con. If you are in the Northeast and you've got money to spare, come check out the second biggest comic book convention in the entire North American continent. And we will be there as press, getting tons of content for you. And that's going to be coming in the next couple weeks. I don't know what we're doing next week for the show. It's up in the air, so we will let you know. But we'll be here because we're here every week because we're crazy. So that is going to do it for episode number 268 of the So Wizard Podcast. I've been your host, Joey DiCarlo. My co-hosts have been the queen of all nerds, Aubrey Litchfield.
My peacock, cock.
And Adam Wallyhawk, the man from YouTube.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. We'll see you next week, my friends. Remember, future events such as these may affect you in the future. Good journey.